All right,
Everything's
with
not
that
funny.
said, Rob, this is Adam Silver, I think, is like, what happened? Tonight, Rob, I got TNT on, and they just showed the marquee for the matchup tonight. You had Jason Tatum representing the Celtics, and of course, you had the great LeBron James repping the Lakers. But problem is, not only is not LeBron playing, Anthony Davis isn't playing. We saw LeBron play 2 nights ago. And Rob, look, LeBron is 39. He's played, obviously, the overwhelming majority of the games. This is very unfortunate. I kind of view him differently because he is so old. But I would just say this. The game to sit out would have, if you knew where we got.
Thank you, Chris. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
The game to sit out would have been that Houston game.
Or they played bad Atlanta, like that was the back-to-back. One of those two.
Was for one of those two, right. Sit out one. Now, look, are they thinking, Rob, we can get these? Like, you always go in thinking we could win. So I'm not saying they just completely conceded that they would lose to Boston. But if you're looking at that, you're in a playoff race, you say, all right, let's get these two. Boston's going to be tough even if we're, at our optimum. So let's get these two, and if LeBron has to rest for a game, we'll let him rest against Boston. But the bottom line is this, and I know you want to cook, so I'm about to let you go. It's just bad for the NBA. Again, I don't want to sit here and kill LeBron. I get it at his age. But this is bad for the NBA. Again, Rob, I'm looking forward to this game tonight. Not anymore. Not anymore. And I still get to watch Boston and their star players and see how good they are and all that. But this was something I was looking forward to. AD and LeBron, Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and now we don't have it. So just another black eye for the NBA, Rob.
Chris, 100%. And if you're an NBA fan tonight, you should be mad as hell. And this has been going on. But at some point, when will the disrespect stop? And I'm just talking about, Chris, you just said it. Fans all over NBA America want to watch a marquee national game with the stars.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Be mad if we're selfish and we want to see good basketball with the best players in the world playing. That's what we want to see. This league has failed us as the fan base. Too many nights, Chris, it's been Christmas without gifts under the tree. We got coal in our stockings. Why? I covered the league since 1987. Chris, I told you this before. I covered every Pistons game in 2004. I never went to the arena and said, is Rasheed not going to play tonight? Is Rip not playing? Never.
Right. No, Rob.
Am I right?
You're absolutely right. I had never thought of it that way.
Chris, never.
But you are absolutely right. It never. And I was a beat writer. I covered the league.
You never thought about that stuff, did you? Unless somebody was seriously hurt.
Yep. Never until recently did it even cross your mind that, so-and-so is not going to play just for rest. And again, LeBron's a little different.
Right.
We get that, but still.
But Chris,
it's not even just this game. It's just over and over. It happens. You're right, Rob. That's a great point. I hadn't thought of it that way.
I just don't remember it. And now It's always, we're planning for a night. Okay, I'm going to watch the game. There's nothing else going on, Chris. It's February. There's nothing. Well, I'm just talking about we want to watch NBA basketball. Can we watch a good game?
Well, this is where, and to your point, there's no football for 2 weeks.
Right.
This is when people start getting ready for the basketball season, right? Like everybody talks about Christmas Day. That's a great day for the NBA. I know now the NFL is kind of still in that. But, Rob, this is when it's like, okay, football's about to end. We've got one game left. Let's get ready for the NBA. The playoffs will be in a few months. And people start paying attention. And, Rob, this is a week. You could start stealing some eyeballs that you haven't been getting over the past few months.
100%. And this is another one of those, as you said earlier, a black eye for the league. And Chris, if I'm a TV executive at TNT or ESPN and I got to have a boatload of money, I got to look at the last few years and said, boy, did we get cheated? Have we been cheated on these national games? We're paying top dollar and we're getting dog food instead of a filet mignon. That's what we're getting. And I'm not trying to disrespect the rest of the players, but this has been happening time and time again. And at some point, somebody might bow out, Chris, and say, we can't, you know what, go to Amazon Prime. Go to pay one of these other things because we're not going to pay top dollar to have national games without the national stars, without the people that we're trying to see.
No.
This is disgusting.
That's not an overstatement. I mean, because again, and obviously I love the NBA, but it's so many letdowns now. It's so many letdowns.
How many times have you said you were looking forward to a game, Chris, as we were doing the show, and then you look up and go, oh, God, they're not playing?
Because that's the thing. If you know players are hurt, you're not, you understand that and you don't get up for the game. But when you get up for the game and then a few hours before you find out, oh, so-and-so's not playing and he's clearly not hurt, then it's just, look, Rob, and I like Adam Silver. I know him from back in the day when he was the deputy commissioner to Stern. But David Stern wouldn't put up with this.
Chris, we already know it.
Rob, you cover Stern too. He wouldn't put up for this.
There's no doubt in my mind they wouldn't allow the league to get to this point. And you got partners. You can't keep doing this. Even the idea that they had to put in the minimum game for awards tells you how bad it had gotten.
No, yeah.
Rob,
I voted last year, and I was like, usually I wouldn't even consider you for something if you'd only play like 58 games.
But they had to do it.
It was so many of the best players had only played that much that it was like, well, I guess I have to overlook that, And, yeah, you're right. I mean, we like the rule just because it does encourage guys to play, but you shouldn't have to have that rule.
You shouldn't have to. Now, Chris, here's my question to NBA fans and NBA America. How do you feel? Is it a disrespect to the fan base? Is it tone deaf to the fan base? Do you know what I mean? Where they just don't understand. I want to say they should understand it, but maybe they just don't.
The players?
Yeah, like the players just they don't get it. They don't understand. Like, people are paying their hard-earned money. People are invested. Why should we care?
Rob,
why should we invest our time and energy?
I think it's because they've started to get away with it. And then it's always easier. It's human nature to just take the easier route. Wouldn't you agree with that? Like, everybody doesn't do it, but it's human nature to take the easier road. If the fans are still coming, if the league doesn't push back, then hey,
I'm getting paid, right? Chris, when you start
still getting the same amount of money.
How do you get somebody's attention? Start docking the money and see if you told people you sat out, Chris, with an injury, you have to lose a game check. Don't tell me that they wouldn't be playing. Most of those guys,
no,
they would be.
Right. And you and I have talked about it like the baseball rule, maybe, where if you miss one game, like again, I hate to use LeBron as an example. I do feel he's a little different since he's in his 21st year.
But you know what I'm saying.
But for the sake of discussion, right, if LeBron was sat out tonight when we know he's not hurt,
he'd have to miss the next three.
He'd have to miss the next 3 games. I bet he'd have been playing tonight.
And that's what baseball, you go on the disabled list, the IL, the 10-day, right? Where you got to miss, Chris, 10 days. So this way, if somebody's really hurt, then they get a chance to recover.
If you're really hurt, that's not going to bother you.
Then it's not going to kill you. But if you aren't hurt and you just taking a night off, you got to think real hard. Can we afford LeBron to miss 4 games? And if he were to take 3 days off, Chris, he would miss 12 games in the season. Right. Ain't no way he would take 3 days off if he was going to miss 12. No way.
Especially if you keep the 65-game rule.
Yep.
Right? Because then it's like, man. And I get it. Unfortunately, there are guys that are legitimately hurt, and this is not about being legitimately hurt. Right. This is about when you're not hurt, just taking rest days. And I got to say this, Rob, because I've heard it from too many people inside the league, and I do believe it. It's not always the player. Now, could LeBron say I'm playing tonight? Of course. But a lot of times these are the teams and their trainers, their doctors, they're telling them you got to have rest days. I heard a story of Blake Griffin arguing like at the top of his lungs with the Clippers at one point where he wanted to play and they wanted him to rest because he was recovering kind of from knee surgery or knee injury. And so it's not always the players, but still, at the end of the day, it's just a bad look for the league, and they have to do something to get it under control.